All right, so I'm here in Austin, and today is the day of days, of course. It all started here with 1010 RoboTaxi. RoboTaxi starts today for select people, and I was fortunate enough to have one person that was able to give me a +1. So let's take a look here at how this works. We're in the app, and this is what we see. So he's logged in here. It's high service demand. So this is like a preview of what Surge, their version of that will be. Some areas we've already gone. This is what the geofence looks like, just to give you an idea. And then I will switch over real quick to what Waymo's looks like for comparison. All right, now we're back, and what we're gonna do is go to we're gonna go to HEB here, and this is a pretty decent route here that'll get us there.
So that's the first time we've seen that. So it says high service demand, please come back later. Okay.
Interesting. So this could also be, I asked him to cancel the ride and rebook it because I didn't have my camera out in time. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. So I guess press X and try again, and let's see.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come back later. All right.
Interesting. So it's not going to let us book a ride right now, which is interesting. So we'll try that again here in just a couple minutes. All right, so now we're back online here, and now we can book a ride. Everything's 420. It's just for trying things out. Looks like 356, pickup 9 minutes away. So kind of very similar to the Uber setup, the Uber kind of design. So something you're already familiar with, so that's perfect. And it shows our arrival time at an estimated 4:07 also. And then it also has this nice little notification down here to open the door, push the wide part of the handle. So for people who are not familiar with Teslas, what were those other two prompts on the bottom?
Just report issue, cancel pickup.
Okay, cool. Now we're gonna go take a ride, and I've already been on, I think we've been on two or three at this point, and we've been trying to challenge it, so to speak. We've been trying to press all the buttons, contact support, pull over, that kind of stuff, see what it does, see how it behaves. And we've had the opportunity to see some pretty unique things on, and I was all on the live stream. But now we're going to capture all this for a more formal, more traditional video that you're used to seeing. And once Sawyer catches up, our RoboTaxi should be picking us up right here around the corner in just a few more minutes, and give you the whole experience here of what this whole thing is going to look like, because quite honestly, it's not as out of this world as you would think, especially if you already have FSD. It behaves so much like what you're used to, and that's not a bad thing. It's familiar, it feels confident, and so far my impressions have been this thing is the same level of confidence. However, in my car, when there's multiple lanes going in the same direction, there's cars going in and out. Sometimes when you're taking a turn, it has this little hesitations trying to take turns. This is confident the entire way through. So it is definitely a different software version. And I will show you also the front and rear screen inside this cab. So with that, this car should be here any moment, and we'll be able to get in and get a ride. Here's RoboTaxi number 1 right here. It is driverless, and Tesla decided to go with LiDAR after all. And here's their chase vehicle that's actually operating the other one remotely. So there's an operator in there pretending that he's the passenger, but he's actually driving the other one. The RoboTaxi is here. Interesting, this time it has decided to pull over into a handicap spot. So that's new, but we're gonna walk over here and get into the cab. All right, let me take my backpack off because we do need a buckle. But when you get in here, I don't know if you saw the animation, but it gave the welcome notification to Sawyer, and fasten our seatbelts. All right, so now that we are fastened, we have our location here, estimated arrival, start ride. And then we have all of our information right here that you're gonna have access to. Now what you'll notice, you can't do anything with the screen. On the front, it's very similar to what you're used to having in your Y, and in this case it's doing some backup magic for you, which is fun. So you'll see his buttons include pull over, stop in lane, and support. So pull over and support are also seen on this rear screen back here. So I can do those two things The stop and lane seems to be a temporary button, possibly, since there won't be a safety observer in the front seat permanently, but that would stop the car like where it's at, rather than trying to find a safe place to pull over, like where it did to pick us up, which is what the pull over button is supposed to do. So also quickly, it is connected to your Tesla profile, which is really cool, because what you can see here is in this profile, this is Sawyer's profile, all of his, Apple Music's already logged in and everything. So any of the games he has had saved, or any of the other programs that he's already logged into on his account, should show up right here while he's riding, which is really cool. So you can do all that right here, and while you're streaming or watching whatever, you get your same message that your passengers get in your car today in the back seat, where it tells you how many minutes left, ETA, that kind of thing. So there you can see our pull over button. Support, we've played with support a couple of times just to get a feel for what all we would use it for, and we actually tried to use it to after hitting pull over, and it stopped in the middle of a turn lane, so they were able to direct us back to the right location. Now hopefully, I don't know if they will or not, but it would be great if you could do more with this map, like zoom in, select another location, add to the trip, things like that. That would be really great to be able to do that right here on the map. That may or may not be something that we see in the future, but that is one thing that I think probably gets used quite a bit on Uber, is when you add a stop on your trip. So something pretty cool. But watching the performance of the vehicle itself, and that's kind of the other big thing here, is how is this thing operating? So we're sitting at a stoplight. What you're gonna notice as we drive, this thing operates so much like what your existing car operates like. It's, like I said earlier, it's very confident, and the only difference that I've noticed so far is where my car will hesitate very lightly on some of the turns when there's multiple cars in the area. This one has a lot more confidence in those turns, and that's really the only major thing I've been able to see so far that's different in its performance. And pretty crazy that that's kind of a testament to what the FSD version in our cars is capable of doing versus what this one is. And for all of those who were certain he would have a Donkey Kong controller in his hands, he clearly does not. There's no controls, there's no pedals, he doesn't have access to anything in this vehicle from that seat. He is literally sitting there and ensuring that a couple of things are not happening. One, I'm not jumping over this center console to jump into that seat. Number two, I'm not trying to rip that steering wheel out. And number three, probably making sure that people outside this vehicle are not trying to vandalize it with everything else going on. But he is doing zero to operate this vehicle. He is, of course, observing and making sure that, if anything unusual were to happen, of course, he would probably report that. But probably, honestly, a pretty boring thing to be doing today, and we appreciate so many of these guys are out here actually doing this. But as Sawyer had said previously, a really good point, that's not scalable. So, and that's kind of the big thing about this. This is a very temporary thing that we're going to have to go through here at the beginning, just as an extra precaution. So let me go a full widescreen here, see if I can get you both screens while we're moving on to this next spot. So Sawyer, as we're taking this ride, this is like our third or fourth ride at this point. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts about this so far?
I can pretty easily see this scale pretty quickly, at least in the Austin area. Add more Model Ys to the service. I guess the question is, like, how long do the safety monitors stay in the cars? They might just want that for a little while, just due to safety reasons. But the cars drive really smoothly. We haven't had a single intervention with the cars. And so as far as I've heard, there hasn't been any other interventions with any of the other riders today. So that's a good sign. Obviously, it's day one. It's an early access program, but it's pretty easy to see how this thing could scale. So it's a great start. This is the first day they're officially generating revenue from their RoboTaxis, which is a pretty exciting moment. So something we've all been waiting years for. But it's a small start, but a big step forward nonetheless, I think.
Yeah, and this is actually true public access. So the invites went out to select individuals. It's a very small group, and it's going to continue to be small growth from that group moving forward at whatever pace it ends up being. But he's not like trapped with one person. He's not just stuck with me, unfortunately. So he can take whoever he wants. Likewise, the other folks who have access to the app as well. So this is literally accessible by the public right now. So that is really cool. And like he said, so every ride is $420, of course. I'm sure that's not going to ultimately transact through his bank statement at the end of the day, but it does give Tesla the opportunity to troubleshoot and try their payment system, make sure it's operating properly, all of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, this is, I'm still like, I wanted so much, I don't know what I expected, but there's no drama. There's nothing to really like get super animated or excited
I
about.
think the goal for today was if everything went smoothly, that means everything was really boring, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
You don't want exciting things
Right.
to happen necessarily.
So I'm like, what was I expecting? Yeah. Yeah. This is what, you know, this is what success would look like. And I think that that's what we're seeing today. We tried several times to really kind of push the car to do some things to see what would happen. And we did get one kind of weird thing that happened where we asked the car to pull over, and it did, but it was in a turn lane. And when that was over and we asked the car to proceed, it was so close to the finish that it just assumed that we had arrived. So then it did what I call FSD roulette, where if you ever get in your car and just turn on FSD without a destination and it just drives around randomly, that's what it was doing. So we hit the support button. Of course, they were able to look at our last location as we asked and send the car back there to that drop point, which is what it did. So that was the most dramatic thing that I know of that's happened with the folks that are out here today. So yeah, so let me flip this around and let you enjoy some of the rest of this ride. You know, while this is happening, I was just thinking to myself, this gentleman in the front, he's not doing anything to operate the vehicle. And I was just thinking to myself, I wonder what would happen if you reached over and grabbed that wheel. And then I remembered how you talked about during the 1010 event, somebody did try to do that just to see, you know, not anything malicious, but the steering wheel would not give, and it threw up a warning on the screen. But the motors in that wheel are firmly in place when it's operating like this to prevent anybody from just grabbing and yanking on that wheel and causing an accident. So even in that case, I bet even if he wanted to grab that wheel, I doubt that much would be able to happen if he did that. So what you just heard was an audible tone telling us, make sure that gather your belongings. This happens at a 2-minute warning of some kind, and just letting you know you're approaching your destination and it's getting prepared to drop you off. So just to be ready to get out of the vehicle. So that is the point that we're at right now. And as you can see on the map, we're just through a left turn here and into a parking lot to, I think, right there. Yeah, that's HEB. Isn't that like a grocery store or something. Is that what that is? Well, that was interesting. One car went left, one car did a U-turn. Okay. So one of the things that I was curious to know is with these drop-off points, I still haven't been able to pinpoint exactly how it's deciding where to pick up and drop off. Drop-off seems more repeatable. It's very similar to in your own vehicle where that destination point goes. So it's going to drop us off up here right in front of the store, which is great. The pickup, though, it seems that it's forcing itself to one of the corners, like almost like it's prioritizing off of a busy street on one of the side streets almost.
Just hit drop me off now.
Yeah, let's hit drop me off now. Let's see what happens. See if it'll let us out of here. So vehicle is finding a safe location to stop. It is pulling over. And last time we did this, it said calling support also. So this is more of a standard, I guess. It's really tight right here, but it's saying, all right, we are good. So what I'll do is I will get out of here and we'll see how it gets itself out of this. If it just does the normal thing and just backs straight out, it's kind of in a weird spot. All right, so this car, now it's gonna figure out what it needs to do. In the last example, it actually did what I would have done, and then it pulled forward into a cubby and then turned itself around, backed out, all that thing. So it does seem to take just a moment before it figures out it's ready to go. I don't know if that's like a processing thing or if it's waiting for an input to say, hey, you're ready to go. So there you go. Once it starts moving, it's moving. So now it's gonna go in reverse. We've got some pedestrians. So it's gonna wait for just a moment, make sure it's clear. Of course, we have another car here and I don't know. Okay, so it's gonna go. It knows that the car is allowing it to go. So I don't have a whole lot of experience with the reverse in full self-driving, and that's something new and understanding what the nuances are on that. But there you go. She is on her way to the next customer for pickup. Now this time with another passenger. Chris, what do you think about this so far?
It's really good. There's nobody in the driver's seat, and it's actually driving us around on FSD. So it's real.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. And also, I was talking to some people earlier about how it's not very exciting, right? But that's actually a good thing. If it was too exciting, there would be a lot of problems. So it's kind of a hard thing. So the only differences I've noticed in the performance of FSD itself have been in the turns. When there's two lanes going the same way or more, it's more confident. So in my car, as it makes turns in like situations like this, it kind of hesitates a little bit. And in here, there's that hesitation is gone. It just does it. Have you noticed anything else about this version, there we go, of FSD that is different?
It's pretty similar. It feels, just as smooth and stuff. The biggest thing is the hesitation around like cyclists and pedestrians. I think it's cranked up a little bit. That would be my guess, which is good. I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
It's definitely, we had a cyclist coming towards us and it hit the brakes, and it's not a bad thing at all. I just noticed it was very cautious. It didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
But if the guy didn't turn like he did, he would have been in front of us. So it was a smart decision. So I feel like that's cranked. Total guess, but other than that, very similar.
I think that's definitely the case. We also, when we got a green light to turn finally after a while, of course the crosswalk was also lit up, and the folks all the way on the other side starting to come this way. It waited for them to come all the way across. So it's definitely turned up. But in Austin, there's so much pedestrian traffic, and especially at night, and people, they just walk straight in the middle of the road. They don't even care. So That's definitely noticeable. That's a good one to call out. Anything crazy you've seen it do?
No, it put itself in park in a left turn lane one time. You know, I mean, it's its fault, but I pushed a button at the end of the journey. You can say, like, all right, let me out a little early. Like, we're not at destination, but
I did the exact same thing.
Yeah,
and it did the exact same thing.
Yeah. So I experienced that. Other than that, nothing. I mean, you know, a couple of little breaks here and there when, again, it's like makes sense why it did it, but it wasn't exactly necessary. But outside of that, no, it's pretty smooth sailing. Like you said, it's mostly boring. It's exciting because it's new, but nothing thrilling is happening, thankfully.
I've also noticed while watching this thing operate that it feels so familiar, and that's part of the not very exciting thing. So maybe this is a cause of us being so used to FSD on our cars that if you have FSD, you're going to get into this thing and be like, oh, this feels like my car, right? With some nuances that you may or may not even notice, especially if it's, you know, a RoboTaxi ride where you're just going somewhere. You're probably on your phone back here, not paying any attention to what it's doing, which is really awesome. What are your thoughts on it not looking so out of place like a Waymo? Because when a Waymo goes by, everybody points and says, that's a Waymo. What do you think about that versus blending in, a very different approach?
Yeah, I've noticed that most people don't know. They don't even look at it. I've even had people like we're at a stoplight, somebody walks in front of the car, like in the crosswalk, they look into the car and then just look away as if nothing is different. And I'm like, how, what? Did you not notice? Like, you just don't care? Or I think people just don't notice. You know, there's a little sticker on the side that says RoboTaxi, and that's about it. And that might be a good thing, you know, in terms of people cutting it off and stuff. But it seems like people are respecting the Waymos around here, so I'm not sure that matters that much. But for the most, it blends in. I mean, it really does.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope that enough. I think, in my opinion, I think that this is going to be a really good sales tool because people, as they're traveling, if it is a RoboTaxi serviced area, somebody in the group is going to say, oh, well, let's just get a RoboTaxi. I think they're doing them here. What? Yeah. Right. And then Susie and John will be back here and they'll realize, wait, I can buy this car? And that's the other thing I think a lot of people, even now, still don't understand. This car we are sitting in right now came off the production line, the same production line that your car came off, that my car came off, and it could have been the one before yours or the one after yours, right? This is the same exact car. Hardware, everything about this car is exactly the same, except for the software that is operating full self-driving is a different version, but it seems to behave very similarly. And again, I've done this with every single ride now. As you can see, there's no Donkey Kong controller in his hand and no pedals at his feet. Like literally, he's not doing anything up there. And I think that this approach is appropriate, and it's the same approach that Waymo has when they start up in a new city, also where they have a safety monitor in place for, you know, additional backup as they start to get enough data to say,
that's the way it should be done. So it's good.
Yeah. Now, I also noticed you had a lot of princess movies on your Disney Plus account back here. I think that's. Have you gone through all of your? Have you gone through all your apps yet?
Nah. Yeah, I looked at them. Yeah, but I'm not signing in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Sawyer was signed into a couple of his, so we were able to confirm it does.
Oh, like it's synced?
Yeah, it's synced. So it's on your profile. So
let me see. I clicked a couple. Yeah, mine's not syncing.
Click home.
Yeah, you're not.
Oh, you're not signed in on that? Yeah.
Mine's not syncing. I might not be signed into any of that stuff on my car.
Yeah.
Because I don't use YouTube. I use YouTube Music, so let's see if that's signed in. Oh, there you go.
It sure is.
Let's go, baby. Oh, you can't.
Oh, T-Pain.
Stop. Don't play it. I'm going to get you a strike. Oh, man. Cool. Yeah, I didn't even check that. That's awesome.
It is cool, though, because you can, you know, crank the tunes to whatever you want back here, or if you're with your kids or whatever, you know, put on a show, traffic's crazy, just sit back here, relax, do your thing. Yep. But I love, that's something that you don't have to go in a RoboTaxi to experience. When you go from one Tesla to another, you go from one Y to another, when you get in it, that's what's on the screen. The seat itself, it goes to your position that you have your car in. It's wild. The mirrors, everything.
Oh, so I should have set my seat all the way up before I came here.
I don't think this seat moves to your profile.
And I'm gonna reach up there and move it.
But I will say, I think that hopefully they'll fix this like in a day. the easy entry mode that they've got these in. So when this ride ends and it goes into park, that seat rolls back into you. Yeah, every one of them's done it. We'll see if this one does it too, but hopefully they turn that off pretty quick. I'm sure they will. But this is exactly what the first wave of public usage is all about, is finding out how we're going to use it, right? And what things are they not thinking about because they're not the consumer. They're the brilliant engineers who put this together. Yeah, I know. It's just, that's what I'm saying. There's no hesitation. It's just a smooth and confident roll into a turn. And this was another one that we had a discussion about as well, was, are they even going to let us have access to this map, like adding spots right there or not? I don't know if they're going to.
You can change the destination one time,
okay,
like mid-drive, but I don't know how.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I'll just keep hailing them. I mean, what's the difference? I guess I would pay one less ride if I did that.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find it in the app or anything. So
I'm also wondering if you can add stops along your route.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to sit there and wait for you, but that'd be a reroute, right? Because you're not going to be like, I'm going to be in here 5 minutes, just sit there. Like, it's going to go away and another one's going to.
Yeah. So just another example. I'm going to keep rolling till this thing comes to a stop. I'm having a hard time figuring out the logic between location of pickup and drop-off. Drop-offs seems to be pickup seems to be a little bit more obvious. Drop-offs, I can't figure out the logic it's using for where it's stopping. But
I mean, it's made sense every time, but yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really predict it, but every time it stopped, I'm like, yeah, that's a good spot. I mean, except when it stopped in the turn lane. But then it kept going. It kept going. So I didn't get out in the middle of the road.
So here's a good example, right? So this is what it did on our first drive. It stopped in the parking lot of the place. The second one, it stopped across the street. So it's hard to figure out how it decides what to do with that. Okay, maybe we just had bad locations then. I don't know. Maybe. So there we go.
It didn't roll back on me.
Oh, let's see.
I don't use easy entry.
Maybe that's what it. Maybe Sawyer uses easy entry and it turns this on. I wonder if that's what's going on.
Yeah, I'm the man. I know.
Okay. All right. Then of course, let's see. This is one of the things I'm not clear on what it's doing after it drops off, because it takes a solid, 15 to 30 seconds to do anything. So I don't know if it's like checking in with the mothership on what to do, or if it's like, processing on its own what it wants to do next. But that is definitely different.
Hopefully you can see driverless. There it goes. Beautiful.
This is Tesla's answer to autonomous driving. This is the current leader in autonomous driving, and both of them have very different approaches, as you can clearly see. Really cool to see them right next to each other. Both of them are very cautious and careful around pedestrians. Of course, Waymo has a very long track record of that safety, and Tesla is here to prove that they also translate the safety they have with consumers into an autonomous fleet as well. So as these other cars are trying to get around, we're watching RoboTaxi try to figure out what it wants to do, and people are very aggressive, so it's not going to stop for this guy. It had enough of letting people go around. Of course, we've got this guy backing up. This is just how Terry Black's parking lot is. This is a normal experience. It's like survival of the fittest in this parking lot. And I'm actually surprised that it was aggressive enough to get through all of that. Okay, so that is our first look at RoboTaxi. And if you haven't already, here's a link to the live stream. If you want to get more detail of what all we were doing earlier, more than just a general overview that we provided here. So right now, we don't have a good idea of what costs are going to be. And I think that's another important factor, another important consideration that we will be getting soon once this thing kind of rolls out more. We also don't know much about the timeline of rollout and how wide it's going to go and how quickly it's going to go wide. But hopefully this is like kind of slow at first and fast quickly. So if it's 20 invites right now, it's 40 invites in the next wave. And then it's 60, and then all of a sudden it's 100, then it's 500, then it's 1,000. So hopefully it's exponential like that. And it makes sense because as they add, you know, a few more each time, they're able to get more successful rides and find out if there are any other issues with how this thing is operating. So far, so good. And for everybody else who hasn't had a chance to check this out, don't worry. This thing will be more accessible soon and everybody will have a chance to do this. But I'm telling you, it's the weirdest thing ever. As much as we want this to be an exciting video, it's not very exciting, and that's actually a good thing. And with that, I thank you so much for joining us today. Can't wait to catch you on the next one.